So I was having a nice dream, and then bing, 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 bing. I roll over and I pick up my phone, and it's filled with text messages from friends I haven't heard from in a year, 2 years. Hey man, I noticed Bitcoin's at like 42,000, dude. Should I buy some? And I stared at my phone and laughed, because I wanted to say, you pencil neck circus peanut, I told you to buy when it was at 16, 17,000. I told you to buy at 30, at 25, and you ignored me. You told me crypto was dead, that only idiots would get into crypto. And I said, listen, I'm not your financial advisor. You could be right, but I'm doubling down. And here we are, knocking on the door, 42,000 again, and the normies smell money. They all bought at the top and sold at the bottom, and they're about to do it again. Or are they? I think we have room to run. This is Crypto Guy on the Internet here for Market Cipher. Crypto face and flopping groper. We're in Salt Lake City to watch Platinum Mike Perry win the King of Violence belt over at BKFC. He was actually getting beat on points by Eddie Alvarez. Eddie's an OG of MMA. I love that guy. His wife really loves him. Eddie! The whole time, right? Since day one. Mike Perry's getting blasted in the face. A normal person would go down, but this is not a human being. Mike Perry is half Super Saiyan, so when you punch him in the face, he just gets more powerful. How do you beat a guy like that? And so eventually he's going to cave your face in. And that's what he did. By the end of the second round, Eddie Alvarez had a shattered orbital, and his eyes swelled shut. And you can't fight like that. The ref, the doctor, the coaches are like, you're done. He's like, yeah, I can't see. And so Eddie lost with respect and dignity and honor. Dude's a dog. He's solid. But you're not going to beat Platinum Mike Perry in bare-knuckle fighting. I think Eddie would win if this was UFC rules, but it's not. This is pure savagery. Mike was born for this. And so Platinum Mike Perry, our guy, wins as expected. Big congratulations to him. We love him. Big Ben Rothwell, he was also on the card, another one of our sponsored fighters. Unfortunately, he got real sick during fight week, and they had to pull his fight as a result. So hopefully he gets well soon, and we will see him fight maybe in a couple of months. I don't know. It's up to him. We'll see what happens. But back to the main story. The normies are back. They're starting to sniff the air, and they're looking at crypto again. Now, you and I, we've been here the whole time. Or maybe you're just dropping in. Maybe you bought at the top, you sold at the bottom, you feel stupid, and you're watching from a distance, and you saw a headline like this, and you went, yeah, maybe it's time to get back in. And that's okay. So everybody's excited about the spot Bitcoin ETFs. January 10th is the absolute final deadline for the first one in line. That's Cathie Wood's spot Bitcoin ETF. They have to approve it or deny it and come up with some reason. But they don't have a reason. The SEC lost its case to Grayscale. They have to approve this stuff. Every rule has been followed in black and white. And the SEC also can't just approve one and then the others have to wait till March, because then you accidentally create a monopoly. Because the first one in the Bitcoin ETF game is going to soak up 95% of the action. And so the idea is, if they approve one of these, they're going to have to kind of approve all of them, or most of them, all in one shot. And if that's the case, well, Bitcoin's narrative is the strongest it's ever been. That's why we're seeing 42,000. Retail is, they're selling their furniture, they're pawning their microwave, they're figuring out a way to get some Bitcoin before the big boys do. All the hungriest, biggest, strongest lions are going to be let in here in like 6 weeks. And so you want to try to get the food out of that cage before the lions show up. That's what we're doing. So all the retailers are going, ugh! They're trying to get what they can before it's all gone. And if you were buying earlier, when it was cheap, 16, 17, 20, 35,000. I don't care. If you bought it today, you're still smart. No, I'm not your financial advisor, but I see 42,000 for Bitcoin and I go, what a deal. Any day to buy Bitcoin is a good day. Now, some of you are in altcoins. I am too. I enjoy the altcoin game, but right now it's Bitcoin story time. They come first. That's where the institutional money's going. Anything else that happens, Ethereum's going to have a spot ETF afterwards if one of the Bitcoin ones gets approved, and it's looking like 99% yes on the Bitcoin one, okay? It's the only crypto with global regulatory clarity. And we want to get this ETF done so the United States can hoover up all that money. Bitcoin first, Ethereum second, and everybody else, they got great stories, great tech, Solana, right? Avalanche, Polygon, Chainlink, Render, Kava, Gala. I don't give a shit what you're in. XRP. It's all exciting. ADA. For whatever reason, Luna. I mean, don't zoom out on Luna. That's a scary story. Oh, my Lord. Okay, so when you zoom in with a friggin' James Webb telescope, you can see that Luna's been doing really well. They're up 300% in like 15 minutes. And good for Luna, but they need to burn like another 7 trillion tokens to be worth a penny, and then I can break even. Great. So the point is that weird stuff is starting to go up, and that tells me interest is coming back in the space. And this is good. And so when your friend who ignored your calls when it was down at 20 grand, you're going, you got to buy stuff now, it's cheap, when no one's talking about it, and they ignored you, now they're back when the price is up, instead of being like, I told you so, you go, welcome back. This time, it's different. Why don't you come on over, get comfortable on the couch, and I'm going to explain to you why Bitcoin is here to stay. Why it fundamentally changes how this world works and how it's your last chance to get around this corrupt system. It's the last boat out of here. Is it replacing the dollar? No. Bitcoin strengthens the dollar. Damn it, it's your only chance is what I'm telling you. And with these altcoins, you could potentially make even larger returns, but we don't know what's going to happen with the regulatory agencies, the SEC, the IMF, right? They're all trying to crush this stuff, but they cannot touch Bitcoin. You people know the story. Whether the dollar collapses, the peso, whatever country you're in, you can count on Bitcoin holding its value. It's a flight to quality. That's what Larry Fink said. I mean, I said it, but if Larry Fink says it, you have to listen. And so welcome, your normie friends. Welcome the pencil necks. Come on down. We're happy you're here. You could argue and say, but crypto guy on the internet, if the normies are talking about crypto, it's time to sell. And normally, I would say you are correct. If Tammy the HR lady is talking about crypto, it's usually time to sell. But this time, it's different. I will hold on for that January 10th announcement, and if we don't get what we want, I'm still going to hold on to Bitcoin. And I want to show you a chart to back up my thinking. This is the RSI, just the regular RSI. And the last few times we got into this super overheated zone, we had some big gains. Now, generally, if you start to buy once we're in this super overbought area, it's kind of too late. But even if you got in at this point, you're making fatty gains. So it just started, right? And you're already up 45%. Now, I said buy down here when you're in panic mode. That's usually when I start to buy. And as a result, I'm up 100%, right? But let's say you're a normie, you're a pencil neck, and you showed up towards the end, you're still up a good amount of money. Let's say you did that the last time we were in this super overbought territory. And you got in right when we crossed into that zone, and you stayed all the way until we left. You were up 419% over 6 months. You could say this was a fluke because they were printing money hand over fist. Okay, let's go back further. The time before that, when we were in this overbought green zone, we got in there. If you jumped in right when that happened, which is technically too late, But even if you did that, you still made 112% over 70 days. And this is before there was any institutional interest. Larry Fink, no one was talking about Bitcoin. Or if they did, it was a joke. And it was still 112% when you got in late. The time before that, there was a lot of these green waves. Well, let's say you showed up at the last minute. You got in at the last green wave. You're still up 254% over 68 days. Really 300% at its peak right here. But if you just showed up late and left late on this last wave, you're up 254%. If you got in on this first one and stayed to the end, you made close to 4,000% gains. And this is back when I first started. This is like 2017. I didn't know squat. And I made those gains. Okay? Now, I didn't put much in, but it was enough to go, ooh, maybe I should pay attention to crypto. And I was hooked ever since, man. The point is although usually you'd say, well, I should probably sell if people are talking about it, right? No. The story's different this time. 2024 is a good year for us. We got these ETFs. We got the halving event. We got a presidential election in the United States. That's a big pile of narratives. Okay, it changes things. January 1st, 2025, banks can hold Bitcoin on their balance sheet. That's never happened before. The next 2 to 3 years are potentially massive for us holding Bitcoin. And so even at 42,000, it's a bargain. We still got room to run, is what I'm saying. We have more room to run. You could fade the rally and buy your kids some Christmas presents. If you got in at 25, 30K, you want to take a little profit, nobody would blame you for doing that. But if you can hold that Bitcoin for as long as you can. Now, this other stuff, let's say you just made a killing on Luna Classic, whatever it is, good for you. Sell that. Take the money. Buy her a purse. Get yourself some shoes. But Bitcoin, the hungry lions are coming, and they're going to say, name your price. We'll give you 100K for it. And you go, 150? 250? And you go, I don't think I need it. Fine, 2025. We'll give you $762,000 for your Bitcoin. And you go, okay. And then you sell out. Or you say no. 2030, they're like, we'll give you $3.2 million for your Bitcoin, or we'll kill you. And you go, okay, that's a deal. I'll take it. I can buy 3 McDonald's hamburgers with $3 million. It's the year 2030, and inflation hasn't gotten under control. But the point is, Bitcoin, I would argue, is a mathematical certainty. There's only so many to go around. And when you got big ETFs coming after it, you got banks coming after it, countries fighting over it now, I think that's enough of a narrative to keep me going for a while. Now, let's look at the price action coming up here. Where do you think it's going? Looking at my charts and indicators, I think this move, Market Cipher is really painting a strong picture. On the weekly, looking strong. Money flow's good, RSI's right on top of each other. Momentum wave still strong. DBSI still strong. What about the daily? Daily, super meaty. Look at that. The RSIs are starting to separate a little bit. DBSI is still strong. What about the 12-hour? If it pulls back a little bit, that's like spitting into a tidal wave. It's still massive. The move isn't done yet, but let's say, where do I think the end of this move is going to be before we have a little bit of a retrace? I would argue between 45 and 47,000. I see it going to 45 to 47,000 by the end of this year, or leading up to the ETF decision. And then whether that decision is a yes or no paints the picture for the next 6 months, okay? So it's all pointing to January 10th or thereabouts. They might approve it a few days earlier, but I'm thinking January 10th we get some clarity on this whole thing. And that's going to change your life one way or the other. If they deny it, let's say Gary Gensler invents a new set of rules at the last second and denies all of the ETFs, and he's then assassinated. Bitcoin's still $70,000 at the end of 2024. That's what I'm saying. That's worst case scenario. Best case scenario, we get the green light. The right palms have been greased. We get a president that's pro-Bitcoin. Crypto's in the crosshairs of everybody now. People see it. And Larry Fink and those big boys, Vanguard, Charles Schwab, Van Eck, Cathie Wood, that's trillions of dollars. And they all want Bitcoin. And people listen to them. And if you have whatever scraps of Bitcoin you have, you're going to be able to name your price over the next year or two. And I'm proud of you for sticking it out, man. The last few years were rough. And now you're starting. This is just the appetizer. This is just the appetizer. It's not even moving yet. And we're at 42,000. If you can hold on, the longer you hold this, the better it's going to be. I can't say that about any other asset. Just Bitcoin. And that's why this is different. You get your normie pencil net friends over to your house. If they go, hey man, should I buy some Shiba Inu? You go, get your ass over here and sit down. I'm going to explain to you why you need to get some Bitcoin. And you can argue Ethereum, Solana, Avalanche, whatever. I don't care what project you're into. If you really know it and you got a good sales pitch for it and you yourself are invested in it, give them your pitch and be like, hey, don't just listen to me. I'm just a crypto guy on the internet, but I devoted my life to this. And here's why I'm into it. And your friend will go, Jesus, you've been in here the whole time? You've been learning about this stuff every day? And you go, yeah. And I'm going to give you the cliff notes. And here's why you should do this. And they go, all right, I'm in. Because you're living proof that it's for real. Everybody else gave up. You didn't. And I'm proud of you. So enjoy the fruits of your labor over the next year or two. Congratulations to Platinum Mike Perry for being the champ. And we'll see you guys again next time.